with you. So whether you're online or here, we are first joining together and reflecting together. We open this sacred space first by lighting our community candle. We light with gratitude, welcoming the light that's in each of us. The candle is the symbol of the light of creation that flows through each of us. As we shine the unity principles of love is, I am, I think, I affirm, and I act. And Rod is running upstairs to ring our bell as we light our candle. As we settle in today, if we'd first just breathe together. So, if you mind, you can settle your eyes on anywhere in the room or gently close them. If it feels right, you can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. We're just going to take a nice inhale together, breathing in, allowing your chest and your lungs to fill, holding that, and exhale. Inhaling, hold, exhaling, allowing your shoulders to relax, your face to soften. Inhaling, hold, exhaling, settling into this moment, noticing any sounds around you, noticing how your body feels in this moment, allowing yourself to let the outside world go for just a little bit. And in this space, we're going to allow our hearts to bring to mind any intention that we would like to send healing to, or thoughts, or prayers, or energy. And in this moment, we all affirm together that fullness of divine life that flows through us when we share these intentions. That light radiating to each and every cell and each and every situation, blessing and revitalizing each person, each space. And we celebrate the wholeness and perfection of life that flows at this time in the form of healing and upliftment to all that we have shared and all that is still in our hearts. And so it is. So today, there's been a couple of books published through Unity lately that talk about channeling, or say that somebody is channeling something or someone, or I thought we'd spend some time today piecing apart those words and what that really means, and what maybe that means for us and our own connection. So a thought to start us off with is true channeling is less about summoning a distant presence and more about listening to the inner currents of your own mind, your own heart, and your own body. And when we cultivate clarity, boundaries, and compassion within ourselves, what we receive can become a source of transformational healing. I'd like us all to maybe set an intention before we start the discussion today. This discussion started off as me writing an essay that took me about 3 weeks to figure out what I wanted to say. So I'm going to try to get it down to 20 minutes, but see what happens. So our intention, at least our shared intention, what I would like for us all is to listen with compassion and discernment to our voice within. And if you would like to say in your mind or feel in your heart or say aloud an intention that you have for today, just take a moment and do that for yourself now. I know we usually end with affirmations, but I'd like to just put a few out there before we start today. And again, you can say them in your heart or out loud after I say them the first time. I listen with compassion to my inner voice. I listen with compassion to my inner voice. My intuition is a source of healing and guidance. My intuition is a source of healing and guidance. I integrate what I understand in the moment with clarity and responsibility. I integrate what I understand in the moment with clarity and responsibility. Okay. So I need to rewind the clock a little bit for my own understanding. So I'm hoping that seeing how I shifted through time might help you all understand what we can move through. And what I'm finding is, in being in various groups, is that the bounce from one to the other, or the progression, is about the same for a lot of the people I'm with, or where they start with. So we're in my early 20s. I got really good at writing poetry or prayers for other people. So people that were hurting, whatever, I would write something, put it in a card or hand it off. At that time, puffy paints were really big, so sometimes you would do a little thing around before you handed them off. And I was asked to write by other people for their friends and their family, which was really great for a while. And I was told over and over that the Holy Spirit had chose me to speak through. So what they were asking was for the Holy Spirit to give them something, and thought they found a voice for that. Which again, when you're like 22, 24, it sounds really cool. That's really special. And around that time, fast forward a couple years from there was a group in Erie called the Catholic Spiritualists that I somehow found. And I would drive from Edinboro down into Erie once a week. There was about 50 to 75 people on any given night. And we would run through all the ways in which we tapped into the gifts of the Spirit. Through Corinthians chapter 12, 3 through 13, and they listed all those gifts. So one week we would talk about healing and practice that, or there was even a part where practicing in tongues, so people would, be a part of that. But in that setting, in order to be proper with it, you had to be pure of spirit, which meant sitting with the priest and making sure you had all your confessions out and that you were in the right space. Or those gifts of the Spirit, weren't really gifts at all. You weren't doing that, you were making it up if you weren't in a pure space. Interesting for me, just a couple weeks ago, I did a lecture about grief and grieving. I was asked, and it happened to be a place where there was a series of lectures. So the lady that was on before me was talking about healing, and for healing for her, they used a, quote, light language, which brought me right back to that speaking in tongues bit, because it sounded exactly the same, only now that it's repackaged as a light language. What we know now, and what I know now too, through the research, is that our human brain can allow us to think that we are doing a thing when we're really not doing a thing. Will allow people to think that something is going on when it's really not going on. And in their awareness or ignorance, or in their want to do good, because this isn't malicious, right? And a want to do good and to be connected to an atmosphere where sometimes as humans we feel much less than we really are. You know, our brain makes sure that we are worthy in some fashion and has some control. So saying that we can be connected to a channel, something in creation that's very, very powerful, well, then we must be special if we're in that space. And there's moments in life when inspiration can arrive so suddenly and so beautifully and in such force that it feels very foreign to us. So the poems that I did sometimes would appear fully formed in my mind. I didn't have to think much about it. And then if you listen to people, I don't know if you listen to any interviews with some musicians, they talk about having an inspiration and everything flows, and then 2 days later there's this masterpiece. You know, it just pours from them faster than what they can actually, get it out. And we know that wisdom can arise within us in conversation that surprises even the person that's saying it. You come up with the right words at the right time, in the right moment, and even you are blown away by what has just come out of your mouth. And in those moments, it's really easy to quickly attribute that experience to a spirit guide, an ascended master, an alien intelligence, Jesus, Allah, or some other external entity. And perhaps one of the greatest spiritual misunderstandings that any of us can have is the inability to recognize the sacred depth, the very deep connection that you already have, especially to your own consciousness, and then to the consciousness that all that is. To universe, divinity, oneness, God. Insert your favorite word. I think we often struggle to accept our own profound wisdom, profound compassion, the insight that we have that arises within ourselves. Because, many of us have been brought up in systems that continually say, you can't, you don't, you're unworthy, you're not ready yet. Stay in your lane. That was one I heard frequently growing up. And then when these beautiful, extraordinary, wonderful things happen, when our intuition pops out and emerges, our internal psyche frequently attempts to categorize that as the other. So it's a reminder that God and the universe aren't out here, and you're not a puppet, but it arises from within. Laughing a little bit because I dictated this in here, and it actually says next paragraph. So Unity Teachings, the co-founders, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore, taught from the get-go that the kingdom of heaven is within you. And they didn't mean that as just a metaphor, as a reality that you as a human are an expression of divine mind. And Myrtle Fillmore emphasized that healing power emerges from within. That recognition of what you need to do for yourself, or how you can help another person in those healing moments. And she is known for her healing and from moving herself from a space of sickness to a space of being very healthy. Now today we might recognize that she had an autoimmune thing or something. We'll never know for sure, but she was very sick her entire life, and they told her she would never get better, yada, yada, yada. Now, she didn't just pray and become better, right? She prayed and was led to do things like change her diet, do a certain exercise, breathe differently, and then all these things combined brought about her transformation and healing. And that's what she taught others. She didn't teach them just to sit in a circle and pray with each other. She taught them to sit in a circle, pray, and follow the inspiration inside of you that comes from that. And this is self-awareness. So the self-awareness allows you to move in harmony with what you're recognizing and not outsource it. To integrate what's going on. We've been told since the dawn of time, as above, so below. Knowing that humanity is a reflection of the universe. That we don't need to acquire anything, that it's already there. It's bringing it into our awareness. To claim the wisdom is a huge responsibility, and I think that's another reason why sometimes we outsource it. Because who wants to be responsible for being God on the planet? That's huge. And to work on our own self-worth, to understand that we are worthy of being connected. We are worthy of knowing. And that honesty in the knowing. To know that we are each in possession of intuition and empathy and creativity and spiritual insight. And that we also, in that integrity, are allowed to move it from one space to another. So whatever I knew in my early 20s, I didn't ditch it, but I integrated that and grew it into a more clear perception. And that is continual. That never ends if we allow that. Our perception just keeps getting clearer and clearer. So it's the idea of maturing in our understanding. The Inner Quest Foundation, you can find on their webpages an article called Knowing the Medium. And it says, self-knowledge is the beginning of transformation in the path of genuine mediumship. I bring mediumship into discussion because you really can't talk about channeling without mediumship. And what does that mean? Because even in the Unity community, there's lots of discussion about is that true or not? And in a truer sense, mediumship is about understanding your connection and healing in a way that you can understand that connection and bring it into this physical world. It's not about just being a conduit. It's about understanding that our humanity is part of the interpretation. And that we are not only worthy to interpret, but are we taking on again that maturity and saying we can continually interpret so that it just gets better and better. I started studying formally mediumship 2010-ish. And then my husband passed in 2012. And that community of people, even though they're lovely, just shows sometimes we can be, I don't know if the right word is ignorance, right? Because it was the feeling that, oh, you're so lucky, now you have somebody that can help you with your mediumship on the other side. Like, you can't do it without something over there. And now you have an in. Luckily for me, I found another group of people through the Inner Quest Foundation that made it very clear that we were each worthy enough to have our own very clear connection, which was a very neat thing to hear in the middle of that kind of grief moment when you're hearing all these different things. And sometimes people use the words channeling and mediumship interchangeably. But really, if we think about it, it all stems from our capacity of intuition, our capacity for symbolic processing, our wish to process what is inside of us for our own healing and to share with others. And in that wish, if we want to do it well, we attend to our own emotional attunement and our own emotional well-being. So our ability to move into altered states through meditation, through awareness, through whatever practice you're doing. In my case, it'd be mediumship. It's knowing that your humanity and that energy from non-physical are all being interpreted through our humanity. We can't get away from that at all. And it doesn't make it less. It makes it, for me, more beautiful because it means we have the opportunity to keep working with that and keep growing with that. It invites us to stop dividing ourselves between, ourselves and divinity. To know that we are part of it. We just happen to be a very physical part of it. We are expressions of it. So when we feel a thing or we think we know a thing and all of that, it runs through that beautiful human essence aspect of humanity. Even throughout history, mediums reported communication with those who have died. In fact, the early 19th and 20th century in Europe and the United States brought mediumship right to the forefront. There were some very cool things that were happening at that time. And then during periods of world wars, especially during World War II in Europe, grieving families would seek out mediums to see what's going on with my kid. Are they okay? And that's when a lot of the investigations of mediums really started coming out, because the families would go, they would have a discussion, and they were being told a lot of details that weren't made public. So in that connection that all that is, and the connection to those young people that had died in wartime, they started to think maybe mediums were spies or something. So then a lot of scientists started studying what was going on. And that's when you see the heyday of a lot of researchers during, doing all kinds of things with mediums in, recording and pictures. We have a lot of that at that time period because of those things. But what that did was keep the science going. So modern neuroscience is still trying to figure all of this out. And they increasingly study mediumship. And they increasingly study it through a lens of the brain dislocating and altered states, knowing that the brain can do many things that we never thought was possible. And they recognizing that there is a capability in some people that can disassociate and not have any type of pathology. And that's where the mediumship comes in. Does that make sense? It means you can look over here to the non-physical and not have a mental illness. So the research suggests that these elevated dissociative capacities are just part of the makeup, the biological makeup of these people. Which is fascinating because it doesn't mean that somebody is special because an outside source is speaking to them. It means there's a talent there, just like a talent for music or for plumbing or for painting or teaching or whatever it is inside the brain in order to recognize these things. Okay, and just in case, the term disassociation refers to the ability to shift our attention away from regular things. So some of us, a lot of us, have experienced it in everyday things, like you drive from A to B and you're like, how did I get to B? Because you just wandered off. Or you have a really profound experience during a meditation or a ritual, and you're feeling these things and you don't quite remember what happened in the physical, but you can remember all of this connection. There is an encyclopedia called the Sight Encyclopedia that have a lot of psychological researchers inputting there. And again, their conclusion is the faculty of mediumship is just an aspect present in some people. That doesn't mean that not everybody has a connection to all that is or their own intuition, but there's something a little different in the way the brain works for those with mediumistic capacity. Regardless, any of these interpretations, whether you are in a meditation or you just know something in a moment or whatever, or you're at some place and you just feel connected, how you interpret those experiences are totally on you. You know, you could be in the same place as somebody else, but your background will say that you had an experience with, I'm just going to make some stuff up here, maybe you saw some fairies in the garden, and that's your experience for that feeling that you're feeling. When somebody else is like, no, it was the Archangel Gabriel came and sat with me, and somebody else is like, no, it's fairies. No, you see what it doesn't, it matters on us and how we are constructed and how we are built to interpret all of it. It doesn't invalidate our experience. I'm going to say that again. Your experience is beautiful no matter what it is. But it does mean that we understand that we can keep interpreting and we can keep getting deeper with what that is. And just an honesty that our biology is at play. And with all of that, we need self-awareness. How does our body react in situations? What is it that we're really hearing in real life? You know, play Sherlock Holmes sometimes while you're walking around the world and see what you hear and know and smell and see in any instance. You know, heightening our own senses and our own awareness and working on our own healing allows, when we do have these moments, to interpret it in a clearer space. Again, this is from the Inner Quest Foundation webpages. It says the key to self-knowledge is self-healing, self-awareness. And as we recognize ourselves as expressions of divine consciousness, we're not inflating our ego. We're recognizing just how connected we all are and how amazing any part of this reality is. Oops. If you'd care to say anything now out loud, you may. We'll leave space for that. Here's some questions you might want to consider and take with you. When have you mistaken your inner voice for something outside of yourself? What rituals, practices, self-care help you with the clearer interpretations of your world? How can creativity and imagination be honored as valid sources of wisdom in your life? And how do you practice emotional integration of your inspiration and your insights? All right, so we just take a moment for gratitude. Remembering that gratitude is a circulation. It's the movement of recognition and awareness, creating a world that reflects care and connection. And we use the words of Charles Fillmore today. It's divine love through me blesses and multiplies all I have, all I give, and all I receive. For those of you in the building, there are affirmations in the left hand that everybody is welcome to. If you'd like to support unity and you are online, you can do that through the link at unityinedinboro.org. Right, so just a reminder that you are each aligned with the truth and awareness and compassion, and that you participate in the unfolding of a more loving world. You have that power. And before we move into our final affirmations, we extinguish the candle we started with. We extinguish the flame, but not that light of truth and the warmth of community and the fire of your own commitment. If you all would affirm with me, I am light, I am love, I am power, I am presence, I am mind, I am life, I am peace, I am joy, I am strength, I am beauty, and wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Amen. So it is. So thank you all for being here.